Okay, this is going to be a quick tutorial on, I guess, the first version of an RTA K5 early. Not super reliable yet, but it's a start. So the first thing that we're going to do is, it's going to start after the bike flag glitch. So this assumes you've started the race. And at this point, your memory probably is not in a great place. Your game memory. So you're going to want to save quit. I've already saved. And actually not quit, but console reset by holding whatever the button sequence is. I've remapped my button, so I'm not quite sure. So, okay. Console reset. That way the memory, and I have the heap viewer open here. It starts from the same point for everybody, right? That's the whole point of the console reset, is just to get this fresh. And then just spam A, get into the game. I don't think the heap RNG is affected by the title screen, so it doesn't matter if you sit on the title screen for like 2 seconds or whatever. Okay, hold L target, and then you're going to want to go right and sort of hug the wall the whole way there. Hit the torch, and again, you're just going right as much as possible, and kind of go down. You can go down a little bit. I have the input shown there, and then you're just going to want to quit. Not save, just quit. And then just spam back into the game. Okay, and let me make a save state here real quick so I have it paused. So the goal here is actually, where do I have it? Mount pointer. I'll know if it worked based on this. Obviously in a real run you won't have any idea of this. Okay, so what we do here, slight up. It's a slightly different route for this. And actually let me rewind to that save state. So I'm not hugging the wall as tight as the first time. I am, you can see the input, more of like a up, you know, it's equal parts right and up at that beginning part there. So I'm still L targeting at the beginning. I don't think we're going to want to hit that torch, but I don't think it matters. And then you just mount the bike. Oh, sorry, I missed a very important part there. Upright, and then you should be hotkeying Fire Blast and hopping on the bike. And I know it worked because I have 811F9B40 as the mount pointer. If I'd gotten another value, then that means I failed the memory setup. Okay, so let me save here. Next thing you do is basically just run straight into this and release A as you make contact, right? So you're holding A the whole time there, not during the turn. So turn, hold A. You can make small adjustments, that's fine. Okay, so turn, hold A the whole time there, and release. And now as Fox comes into scene, turn him gradually away. And this is not a good angle, so what happens is when I finish this dialogue, I can't make inputs right now. See, if I make inputs, it won't let me do anything. But I can make a small correction. I need the bike to have a certain angle. And so what I can do is close this. And once I finish the final dialogue, I can make a small correction. And then okay, so let me restart that and do it from the beginning. Face this. Release. Get Fox facing the right way. That was a little closer this time. And now I spam Y so that the camera doesn't wig out. And I hold the trigger down. And you can't just hold the L target here. The problem with that is the L target input won't get picked up. But if you spam Y, that input will get picked up. And then you just back out, and then eventually the L target will get picked up. And you can just memorize the input for this part. Trick may actually get ruined here. One, because I took so long. And two, if the camera's this close, I've noticed that sometimes that can kill the trick. If the camera's really close. If it's upside down, not a huge problem. But if it's close, that's suspect. Yeah, that was ruined. Okay, let me take it from the top and try to do it in a more fluid way. Line him up. Okay, not quite right. Need to make a correction. Spam Y. Okay, Now I'm walking out. The camera's close. I don't like it. I'll try it just to see, but I'm going to have to redo this. Probably. No, I think that worked, actually. But the camera's upside down, right? This is probably a reset. Basically, my goal is to get 0, 0, 0 into the mount coordinates. But upside down camera, unless you physically flip your TV, that's no good for a RTA run. So, again, release A, fix Fox's position, not quite right, it needs to be angled a bit away, spam Y. Okay, now I just memorize these inputs. It's fine if your camera's upside down for this, it can get corrected on the zoom. Okay, walk up to the fence, zoom. I got the zeros, and I got a good camera. Okay, great. So, let's make another save state. For this part, pretty straightforward. I usually just kind of walk up this part of the terrain here. Position Fox. It's super arbitrary, just somewhere around here. You know, just in between the two wedges of this triangle he's standing on. Right, so somewhere in this kind of darker patch. Not super precise, so. And at this point, I just zoom, center the torch, I guess the closer torch, and then I back up and do a running roll. But let me restart that so that the memory is, I guess, so that I can do it more fluidly. Okay. Somewhere around here, zoom, face torch, back up, running roll. Okay. And my camera is not great, so I can't really see the path down, but you can actually make falling corrections at this point. But I don't think you need them if you set it up right. You should just be able to just fall and leave it alone. Yep, I landed perfectly where I needed to. Okay, this part's easy. You just sort of line Fox up with this crack so that he's facing the direction of this crack. And get his head sort of ear touching that. These setups aren't very great because the camera can change, but ear touching the edge is generally fine. Just do a neutral roll. You can kind of hold left and right and make adjustments on the way down, but you don't really need them. Okay, this is the worst part. I'm going to pause and make a save state. I have no setups for this. But the goal is to get Fox into the water, and it's not easy, and the camera is pretty much RNG entirely at this point. That was one of the cleanest attempts I've done in a while, but it's way harder than it looks. From here, you will need to do some void traveling. The memory won't change during the whole void travel, so do whatever you want, right? The memory is the same. And so we will need to find a swim setup for like, okay, face this mountain range for this amount of time and swim forward for 4 minutes, then turn and face this mountain range and swim for 4 minutes. I don't have that setup ready yet. So for now, I'm just going to hack my position. But I will get that set up at some point. I made a mistake, and I lost track of where I was, so let me reload that save file. Okay, so swim away. I will assume that you've done some sort of setup at this point to get to where you need to be. Presumably. Okay, so this would sort of be the end of the void travel, which again, set up to be determined. And you should hit purple at some point. That's good. That means you're on the K5 map. Not good if you load into the shrine. Let me get a better thing. I needed to be a little more out of the way. Alright, here we are. Okay, so ideally the setup would put you in this purple, and then you could zoom around, you could see the spirit. That box off in the side there. And again, save state so I don't have to redo anything if I mess up. Approach the spirit. And probably L target the whole way, because the cameras will be different, and this is consistent. if you're L targeting, it sort of fixes the cameras generally. Then just swim on up. And what we're going to do is a little strange. We are not going to face the trial room, right? We don't want to be looking that way, or the memory will kind of get weird. This room is pretty lax, but you don't want to go past like you basically don't want to walk past the spirit, otherwise you'll ruin your memory, or you don't want to be facing the other way when you do that. So walk this way, facing away, then you'll come to the end of this box. And this is where we need to do another trick. If I just turn around, I've ruined the memory. If you see my X, Y, and Z coordinates, they're overwritten for the mount pointer, and nothing I do is going to fix them, right? They're stuck like that forever. So what you need to do is actually a trick where you face this way, pause, hold L, and then release the pause. And what that does is it loads this room, but the pause coordinates, or the pause menu, was actually allocated to the mount coordinates. And by having the pause menu open, it prevented this room from overriding the mount coordinates, if that makes any sense. If it doesn't make sense, then just do it and trust the process. Okay, so face away, pause, hold L, unpause, and if I can show a screenshot, or if you look, the pause menu is still open by the time the camera turns around, and that's why this works. Okay, now at this point you just shoot off as many fire blasts as you can and hope it worked. Oh, so close. You see I got the X coordinate here, but I messed up. It just didn't work, and that's just the nature of this. Sadly, it is what it is. If I hacked my mana, or did, if I messed with the memory a little more than I did, the trick would have worked, but that's just the nature of these memory tricks. But that was a very close setup, and, if I'd done that attempt all over again from scratch, next time... Oh, what? Okay, that time it worked. Yep, so, okay, some RNG there. I just did the same exact thing. That time it worked. Okay, so, I don't know, maybe it's a 50-50 chance or something. Then I just go over here, and... Fortunately, if you drop into this pit, there's already fire down here, so you can just die. Do I want to save? I don't think it matters, because you hit an ESW trigger, which we're not actually using, by the way. And then there we are, K5 early. The game is in a fixed state now, and we can go beat the game. Ta-da!